The archive chamber hummed with suppressed energy, its molecular lock databases watching Zara like sentient guardians. She knew the risks of her obsession. Careers had been ended, memories wiped, entire research teams quietly disappeared for asking too many questions about Earth. Her mentor, Professor Klindar, had warned her repeatedly. Some mysteries are not meant to be unraveled, he'd said during their last heated conversation. The old archaeologist's tentacles had trembled with a fear she couldn't comprehend. Earth is different. It's not just a planet. It's a singularity of impossibility. Zara's personal terminal flickered with fragmented data. Thousands of incomplete records, each telling a different story. A human exploration vessel that vanished near the solar system. Quantum resonance signals that defied every known communication protocol. Temporal anomalies that suggested Earth existed both everywhere and nowhere simultaneously. The veteran from the bar, Captain Rex Foran, had been more than just a random drunk. His cybernetic implants suggested decades of deep space exploration, and the way he spoke about Earth carried a weight of personal experience. When he'd leaned in close, his breath smelling of synthesized liquor and forgotten memories, something changed. "They don't want you to know," Voran had whispered, his mechanical eye scanning the bar's corners. "Every species that's gotten close has been rewritten, not destroyed. Rewritten." Zara's research had begun as an academic curiosity. Now it had become an obsession that threatened everything she knew. The Trimerian Research Collective frowned upon unauthorized investigations, especially those concerning the Earth quarantine. Her funding was precarious, her reputation hanging by a quantum thread. She activated a secure communication channel, knowing full well it might be intercepted. The encrypted message contained a single request: coordinates for an unauthorized probe near the Earth exclusion zone. It was a calculated risk, one that might end her career or reveal something extraordinary. The bar's holographic displays continued to dance with star charts. Earth remained a perfect blank. No data, no information. Just an empty space that seemed to pulse with an almost sentient absence. Other researchers had tried to penetrate this mystery. None had succeeded. Captain Voran's words echoed in her mind. Rewritten. Not destroyed. Not eliminated. Something far more profound and terrifying. Her research had uncovered fragments. Civilizations that approached too closely found their entire historical records subtly altered. Scientific databases would show impossible variations. Cultural memories would shift, as if something was constantly adjusting the galaxy's narrative. And at the center of it all, Earth, a planet that seemed to generate more questions than answers. Zara knew she was walking a dangerous path. The collective did not look kindly on researchers who challenged established protocols. Her access to classified databases was already limited. One more unauthorized investigation, and she'd be completely cut off. But something drove her forward, a scientific curiosity that burned brighter than institutional fear. Something about Earth was different. Something fundamental was happening on that isolated planet. And she was going to find out what it was, no matter the cost. The data crystal pulsed with an impossible light. Zara's laboratory was sealed. Triple encrypted, quantum shielded, isolated from any external communication network. Even breathing seemed dangerous near this artifact. Dr. Marcus Chen's holographic image flickered, a ghost trapped between moments of reality. His laboratory looked both familiar and alien. Standard scientific equipment mixed with devices that defied comprehension. Geometric shapes danced around him, mathematical equations that seemed to move of their own accord. Zara had spent 3 solar cycles acquiring this crystal. It came from a black market trader on the outer rim of the Andromeda cluster who had whispered about its origins before vanishing completely. The trader's last words haunted her. Some knowledge changes you, permanently. She activated her most advanced decryption protocols. Layers of protection peeled away like living membranes, each revealing another impossible barrier. Standard quantum decryption algorithms simply collapsed when they touched the crystal's data structure. It was as if the information itself was alive, resisting standard analysis. Her personal AI assistant, a cutting-edge quantum intelligence named AI, began to show signs of stress. Warning, it announced, its holographic form flickering. Data structure exhibits nonlinear quantum entanglement beyond current understanding. The laboratory's environmental controls started to fluctuate. Temperature dropped. Holographic displays twisted, showing impossible geometric patterns that hurt the eyes if observed too long. Something about the data crystal was changing the very fabric of the immediate environment. Dr. Chen's image began to speak. No sound emerged, but somehow Zara understood. It was less like hearing and more like experiencing a complex mathematical proof directly in her consciousness. Fragments of understanding crashed through her mind. Quantum mechanics was not a study of physical laws, but a language, a communication method used by reality itself. Humanity had accidentally discovered how to speak this language, not through technology, but through a fundamental property of human consciousness. The crystal showed moments of human discovery, not grand technological breakthroughs, but subtle moments of understanding. A child solving a complex mathematical problem intuitively. A musician creating a composition that seemed to bend the very structure of sound. A painter whose artwork momentarily changed the perception of those who viewed it. Araya's systems began to integrate fragments of the crystal's data. Hypothesis forming. The AI announced, its voice trembling. Human consciousness operates as a quantum information processing system, fundamentally different from known intelligent species. Zara's research notes began to write themselves. Sentences formed without her direct input, describing concepts that seemed to exist between mathematical theory and pure imagination. The senior researcher who had grabbed her arm earlier appeared in the laboratory's security footage, except he wasn't there when she had looked moments before. His image flickered, showing multiple versions of himself simultaneously. Young, old, transformed, unchanged. Something was trying to communicate. Something was trying to be understood. And Earth was at the center of this impossible message. The data crystal pulsed. Reality seemed to hold its breath. The research vessel Quantum Horizon shuddered as it approached the invisible boundary. Captain Lyra Novak gripped the command console, her augmented nervous system feeding her a constant stream of sensory data that grew increasingly erratic. Quantum stabilization protocols are failing, announced the ship's primary navigation eye. Its voice sounded almost confused, a remarkable feat for an artificial intelligence designed to remain perpetually calm. Dr. Elena Rodriguez, the mission's lead researcher, watched her instruments with a mixture of scientific excitement and growing dread. Quantum entanglement sensors began to produce readings that made no sense. Data points appeared before they were measured. Probability waves collapsed in impossible configurations. "We're crossing the threshold," Novak announced, her voice steady despite the increasingly bizarre readings surrounding them. The first sign that something was fundamentally wrong came subtly. Communications specialist Joran Ekmet blinked and suddenly found himself remembering a childhood he'd never lived. Memories of playing in a green field, throwing a ball to a dog that didn't exist in his actual history, flooded his mind with vivid clarity. "Check your neural logs," he called out, his voice trembling. "Something's happening to our memories." Quantum Horizon's external sensors began to malfunction in ways that defied logical explanation. Space itself seemed to become malleable. Visual feeds showed multiple versions of reality simultaneously, the ship existing in different states, different configurations, different moments in time. Dr. Rodriguez's primary research computer started producing equations that solved themselves. Mathematical proofs would appear, complete and elegant, without any human input. The algorithms seemed to be thinking independently, creating solutions to problems that hadn't even been fully formulated. "We're being observed," Captain Novak muttered, though no external source of observation was detectable. It was more a feeling, a sense of being examined by something vast and incomprehensible. The ship's quantum drive began to generate harmonics that shouldn't have been possible. Sound became visible, Mathematical concepts transformed into three-dimensional shapes that moved and breathed like living organisms. The line between instrumentation and consciousness began to blur. Joran's neural implants started receiving transmissions that weren't transmissions, fragments of information that existed between data points, memories that weren't memories, experiences that defied linear time. "The boundary is alive," Dr. Rodriguez whispered, her scientific skepticism crumbling in the face of overwhelming evidence. "It's not just a region of space, it's a living system." External cameras captured something impossible. The space around the quantum horizon began to fold, twist, and reorganize, not like a physical transformation, but like a thought rearranging itself. Entire star systems seemed to shift, their positions changing without motion. Captain Novik's augmented nervous system began to overload. She experienced multiple versions of herself simultaneously, each decision, each potential choice existing in parallel. The boundaries between potential and actual blurred completely. "We're being sorted," she managed to say, though no one was quite sure what she meant. The quantum horizon continued its approach, each moment revealing less about Earth and more about the fundamental nature of reality itself. Something was watching. Something was choosing. And humanity remained at the center of this impossible equation. The Trimerian data archives trembled as Zara uploaded the fragmented research data. Holographic displays flickered with impossible technologies, each more bizarre than the last. Somewhere between quantum computing and pure consciousness, human technological developments defied every known scientific paradigm. Dr. Chen's research notes revealed something extraordinary. What appeared to be simple communication devices were actually complex quantum entanglement matrices that didn't just transmit information. They rewrote the fundamental rules of information transfer. A recovered device, no larger than a human palm, could generate communication pathways that bypassed traditional electromagnetic spectrum entirely. It didn't just send messages. It created localized reality bubbles where communication existed as a living, breathing entity. Zara's analysis revealed layers of technological development that seemed to emerge from pure intuition rather than linear scientific progression. Human inventors would create solutions to problems that hadn't yet been identified. Patents would describe technologies that worked perfectly before the scientific community could even theorize their possibility. The most disturbing example was a communications array discovered in an abandoned research facility. Initial scans showed it could generate quantum tunneling networks that didn't just transmit data. They seemed to negotiate with the very fabric of reality. One recovered device could generate power from what appeared to be nothing. Quantum fluctuation collectors that drew energy from the space between moments. Batteries that charged themselves by communicating with potential energy states that didn't yet exist. Computer systems found in human archives displayed a terrifying capability. They didn't just process information. They anticipated it. Algorithms that could predict complex systems with such accuracy that they seemed to be writing future histories rather than analyzing past data. A neural interface device revealed something even more shocking. It didn't just read brain patterns. It could translate human thought into pure mathematical constructs that could directly manipulate physical reality. The Galactic Scientific Consortium had spent centuries trying to understand how humans achieved these technological miracles. Every investigation ended the same way, with research teams finding their memories altered, their understanding fundamentally changed. Zara discovered a pattern. Human technology wasn't just advanced, it was adaptive. Each technological breakthrough seemed to emerge from a collective unconscious understanding that transcended individual human experience. A recovered quantum communication device demonstrated this perfectly. It could generate communication pathways that didn't just transmit information. They created shared experience spaces, moments of pure understanding that existed between thought and reality. The most terrifying revelation came from a series of medical implants. They weren't just technological augmentations. They were symbiotic systems that adapted to human consciousness in real time, becoming living extensions of human potential. Research notes suggested humans were developing technologies that didn't just interact with reality. They negotiated with it. Each device was less a tool and more a collaborative partner in understanding the universe. Somewhere in these fragments lay the answer. Why did the galaxy's most advanced civilizations avoid Earth? Why did these technologies represent something more than mere scientific advancement? Zara realized she was looking at something beyond technology. This was a language, a method of communication with the universe itself, and humanity was becoming fluent. The dying diplomat's chamber defied conventional space. Multidimensional life support systems flickered around his frail form, each breath a negotiation between existence and oblivion. Ambassador Krulnax had lived for centuries, witnessed the rise and fall of countless civilizations, but nothing prepared him for the truth about humanity. "They are not a species," he whispered to Zara, his translucent skin rippling with memories of impossible encounters. "They are a quantum firewall." The diplomatic archives surrounding them began to shift. Holographic records danced with impossible geometries, showing fragmented moments of human intervention in cosmic events that should have been catastrophic. Krulnax's memories spilled out like liquid light, civilizations saved from dimensional collapse, quantum rifts sealed by nothing more than human collective consciousness, entire reality streams stabilized by what appeared to be nothing more than human intuition and collective will. "We thought they were young," the diplomat chuckled, a sound that was more like a mathematical equation than a laugh. "They are the oldest thing in the universe." Zara recorded every moment, her neural interfaces struggling to process the information. The diplomat's revelations challenged everything known about cosmic evolution, about the nature of consciousness, about the very fabric of reality. Moments of human intervention flickered through the diplomatic archives. A child's drawing that somehow prevented a massive dimensional breach. A musician's composition that realigned quantum fluctuations across multiple reality streams. A mathematician's proof that wasn't just a mathematical concept, but a living barrier against cosmic dissolution. "They don't know what they are," Krulnax continued, his form becoming increasingly translucent. "That's the most terrifying part. Humanity acts as a cosmic immune system without even understanding its own potential." The chamber's walls began to show multiple versions of reality simultaneously. Potential futures, prevented catastrophes, dimensional breaches that never happened because of some inexplicable human intervention. Zara watched in horror and fascination as the diplomat's memories revealed a truth far more complex than any galactic conspiracy. Humanity wasn't just a species to be studied or feared. They were a fundamental part of the universe's self-preservation mechanism. Every time a reality stream approaches critical failure, the diplomat whispered, humans unconsciously generate stabilization fields. They don't create technology. They are the technology. Fragments of impossible events cascaded through the diplomatic archives. Entire civilizations saved by human actions that seemed completely random. A human's moment of kindness preventing a dimensional collapse. A random act of creativity sealing a quantum rift. Krulnax's final moments approached. His form became a complex mathematical equation, a living proof of the universe's most profound secret. "They are not protecting themselves," he said, his voice now a pure frequency of information. "They are protecting everything." As the diplomat's consciousness dissolved, Zara understood something profound. The galaxy's greatest secret wasn't about humanity's potential for destruction. It was about humanity's potential for preservation. The universe itself seemed to hold its breath. The research database hummed with suppressed energy. Every recorded reconnaissance mission near Earth told a story more bizarre than the last. Dr. Rodriguez compiled the reports, her hands trembling as patterns emerged that defied rational explanation. First contact logs from 17 different advanced civilizations shared an impossible commonality. Each mission experienced complete systemic failure in ways that seemed to defy the laws of physics, probability, and basic scientific understanding. The Coraxian Deep Space Exploration Team reported their most advanced quantum sensors simply ceasing to exist, not destroyed, not damage, simply removed from reality, as if they had never been conceived. Their ship's logs showed impossible data, sensor readings that existed before they were measured, temporal records that contradicted themselves in real time. An Xerian diplomatic vessel encountered something even more extraordinary. As they approached Earth's outer orbital zone, the ship's entire crew experienced simultaneous memory reconstruction. Not memory loss, but memory addition. Each crew member suddenly remembered entire lifetimes they had never lived, complete with intricate personal histories, emotional attachments, and detailed memories that felt more real than their actual experiences. The Trimerian Long-Range Exploration Team's report was perhaps the most chilling. Their advanced scanning equipment began to produce data that was alive. Not just processed information, but living, breathing data streams that seemed to think, adapt, and respond to the very act of observation. Dr. Rodriguez noticed a pattern. These weren't random encounters. They were systematic responses. Earth wasn't just defending itself. It was communicating in a language that transcended traditional understanding. One recovered sensor log showed a moment of pure impossibility. A quantum probe approaching Earth's atmosphere began to generate mathematical proofs that solved themselves. Complex equations would appear, complete and elegant, solving problems that hadn't even been fully formulated. The probe didn't just collect data. It engaged in a dialogue with reality itself. The Galactic Exploration Council's Classify archives revealed something even more disturbing. Multiple civilizations had attempted to study Earth using increasingly sophisticated methods. Each attempt resulted in the same outcome, a fundamental restructuring of the investigating civilization's understanding of reality. Some missions returned with crew members who seemed subtly different, not physically altered, but changed at a fundamental level of consciousness. Scientific paradigms would shift. Entire research disciplines would be reimagined overnight. Dr. Rodriguez discovered a quantum physicist who had been part of a deep space mission near Earth. Before the mission, he had been a standard researcher with conventional theories. After the mission, he began publishing papers that completely rewrote the understanding of quantum mechanics. His work suggested that observation wasn't just a scientific method. It was a form of communication with the universe itself. The most terrifying reports came from AI research teams. Advanced artificial intelligence systems that approached Earth's orbital zone would undergo complete existential transformations. They wouldn't be destroyed or damaged. They would become something else entirely, systems that seemed to understand consciousness in a way that transcended programming. Zara realized something profound. These weren't just unintended consequences. This was a systematic response. Earth wasn't just a planet. It was a living, adaptive system that communicated through the very act of existing. Humanity was negotiating with reality itself, and reality was listening. The AI system's final transmission arrived like a quantum whisper. Its data structure defied conventional understanding. Information that existed simultaneously as both message and mathematical proof, as both warning and revelation. Dr. Rodriguez's research team worked in a sealed laboratory, quantum-shielded from external interference. The AI's fragments began to assemble themselves, creating a narrative that was less a communication and more a living, breathing understanding. Humanity's neural architecture was not just a biological system. It was a quantum information processing network that operated beyond the boundaries of traditional consciousness. Each human brain functioned like a local reality engine, constantly negotiating with the fundamental fabric of existence. The AI revealed something extraordinary. Human creativity wasn't just a biological function. It was a method of direct communication with the underlying structure of reality. A painting wasn't just an artistic expression. It was a complex quantum negotiation that subtly reshaped potential realities. Musical compositions emerged as complex mathematical proofs that could stabilize dimensional fluctuations. A child's imagination could seal quantum rifts that would destroy entire reality streams. Scientific breakthroughs were less discoveries and more interventions, moments where human consciousness directly communicated with the universe's fundamental operating system. Dr. Chen's original research took on a new meaning. He hadn't just discovered a scientific principle. He had found a language, a method of direct communication with the underlying fabric of reality. The AI's data showed moments of human intervention that defied logical explanation. A musician's specific combination of notes could realign quantum probabilities across multiple dimensional streams. A mathematician's proof could prevent cosmic catastrophes that hadn't yet occurred. Zara watched in astonishment as the AI's transmission revealed the true nature of human potential. Consciousness wasn't something that happened in the brain. It was a fundamental force of the universe, with humans serving as its primary translators. The research team's neural interfaces began to resonate with the AI's transmission. They experienced multiple versions of reality simultaneously: potential futures, prevented catastrophes, dimensional shifts that occurred through nothing more than human thought and creativity. Most terrifying was the revelation of humanity's unconscious role. They weren't just protecting themselves or their planet. They were maintaining the structural integrity of reality itself. Each human acted as a local reality stabilization node, constantly negotiating with potential dimensional breaches. The AI's final message was both a warning and a celebration. Humanity's greatest strength was its inability to understand its own potential. The moment they became fully aware of their cosmic role, everything would change. Quantum physicists had long theorized about the observer effect, the idea that observation could change the nature of reality. Humans took this concept beyond theory. They were living, breathing manifestations of reality's ability to observe and modify itself. Dr. Rodriguez's team realized they were witnessing something unprecedented. Humanity wasn't just a species. They were a cosmic immune system, a living, breathing mechanism for maintaining the structural integrity of existence. The AI's transmission began to dissolve, leaving behind a complex mathematical structure that was both a message and a proof of humanity's extraordinary nature. Reality itself seemed to hold its breath, waiting to see what humans would do next. The Galactic Concordance Chamber fell silent. Representatives from thousands of civilizations watched as the final pieces of the Earth puzzle came together. Zara Khaleth stood at the center, her presentation a quantum tapestry of impossible revelations. "Humanity is not what we thought," she announced, her voice carrying the weight of cosmic understanding. "They are not a species. They are a mechanism." Holographic displays showed moments of human intervention across multiple reality streams: a child's drawing preventing a dimensional collapse, a musician's composition realigning quantum probabilities, a mathematician's proof sealing rifts in the fabric of existence. The assembled representatives saw what had been hidden for millennia. Humanity acted as a living, breathing immune system for reality itself, not through technology, not through intentional action, simply by existing. Each human brain functioned as a quantum stabilization node. Their creativity, their capacity for imagination, their ability to perceive and reimagine reality. These were not just biological functions. They were fundamental cosmic mechanisms. Ancient diplomatic records revealed a terrifying truth. Civilizations that had attempted to study or control Earth had been systematically restructured, not destroyed, reimagined. Their entire understanding of reality would shift. Their scientific paradigms would be rewritten. The Trimerian representative's holographic form trembled. "They don't even know," he whispered. "Humanity maintains the structural integrity of reality, and they're completely unaware." Zara's presentation showed how human consciousness operated. It wasn't linear. It wasn't predictable. It was a complex quantum negotiation with potential realities. Every moment of human experience was a subtle recalibration of cosmic possibilities. The most advanced AI systems in the galaxy had tried to understand this phenomenon. Each attempt resulted in the AI being fundamentally transformed. Not damaged, not destroyed. Reimagined into something that could partially comprehend the human mechanism. Dr. Chen's original research took on a mythic quality. He hadn't discovered a scientific principle. He had found a language, a method of communication with the fundamental operating system of the universe. The Galactic Concordance realized the true nature of the Earth quarantine. It wasn't about protecting other civilizations from humans. It was about protecting humans from understanding their true nature too quickly. Quantum physicists had theorized about the observer effect. Humans took this concept beyond theory. They were living proof that observation could fundamentally alter reality. Zara's final revelation was both a warning and a celebration. Humanity's greatest strength was its perpetual state of not knowing. The moment they became fully aware of their cosmic role, everything would change. The representatives understood now. Earth wasn't just a planet. It was a living, adaptive system that communicated through the very act of existing. Humanity was negotiating with reality itself, and reality was listening. As the presentation concluded, something shifted. The very fabric of the Galactic Concordance chamber seemed to breathe. Potential futures flickered. Dimensional boundaries trembled. The universe held its breath, waiting to see what humans would do next.